You ever notice how some people sleep 8 hours and still feel like death warmed over in the morning? Like their body stopped moving, but their soul kept pacing all night? Yeah, that's not just bad sleep, that's fake rest. And most people don't even know they're doing it. They think rest means not working. Like if you're not typing, sweating, building, replying, earning, then it must count as rest. But that's like saying standing still on a treadmill is the same as getting off it. You might not be moving, but the belt's still running underneath. And that noise, that hum in your head, that ache in your chest, that's the treadmill of unprocessed life. And just because you sat down with a snack and a screen doesn't mean you're off it. You're just distracting yourself while it keeps rolling. That's the quiet crisis. We think we're resting, but really, we're rehearsing our burnout. See, not all rest is real, and not all exhaustion comes from effort. Some of it comes from misalignment, some from pretending all day, some from needing to hold yourself together like you're a cracked vase in a museum, held by invisible glue and the fear of finally falling apart. So today, let's name it. Let's break it down. Every type of fake rest. The soft traps, the cozy lies, the little rituals that look like care, but actually pull you further from your center. And not with judgment, but with clarity. Because real rest isn't lazy, it's radical. And we don't need more naps. We need to come home to ourselves. Let's start with the classic, the scroll sedative. You know it. That late night thumb ballet where you're lying in bed, body still, eyes half open, soul half absent, just watching your screen feed you other people's moments like crumbs you didn't ask for. You're not really watching, not really choosing. You're just drifting like a leaf in the current of the algorithm, bouncing from a stranger's dance video to a motivational quote to a news headline. You'll forget by morning. And it always starts the same way. I'll just check this one thing, you say. Like, that one thing isn't a gateway drug with $1 billion research team behind it, designed to keep you hooked, to make the scroll feel like a blanket when really it's a drain. 1 minute becomes five, five becomes 30, and suddenly you're hunched in the dark, spine curved like a question mark, watching a guy make pancakes on a mountain while your own body quietly begs for release. And you call it unwinding, but the only thing unwinding is your focus. You're not relaxing. You're self-anesthetizing. You're not resting, or you're being lulled into a trance by a feed that never ends, a hypnotic loop of dopamine crumbs, none of which satisfy, all of which stir something up. It's not stillness. It's stimulation in disguise. Your brain doesn't stop when you scroll. It spins. Every swipe is a decision. Every video a new emotional note. Your nervous system doesn't know you're just chilling. It thinks you're under threat because it can't tell the difference between danger and drama, between headlines and horror, between someone else's crisis and your own. Your body's not being soothed, it's being flooded. But because you're lying down and not talking, it feels like peace. That's the trap. It mimics the surface of rest while burying the roots of your exhaustion even deeper. And the worst part? It's easy, so easy. Easier than sitting with silence. Easier than being with your own thoughts. Because if you stopped scrolling, really stopped, you'd have to feel the discomfort you've been dodging all day. The ache, the emptiness, the guilt, the fear, the unprocessed tension in your jaw or your chest or your past. The scroll is a shield. And shields feel safe, but they also block the sunlight. And after a while, you start confusing numbness for calm. You stop noticing how much energy you're leaking just to keep up with content you didn't even ask to see. And when it's finally time to sleep, you can't. Your brain is still wired, your breath is shallow. Your dreams jump from clip to clip like your sleep has its own algorithm now. You wake up tired, you feel groggy, and you say, I must just be a low-energy person. But you're not. You're just a human being whose mind was hijacked all night. You didn't rest. You streamed yourself into a stupor. You were spoon-fed chaos under the label of entertainment, and now your body's the one left holding the check. And what makes it so dangerous is how invisible it is. It's normal. Everyone's doing it. You don't look sick. You don't look stressed. You just look like you're lying in bed checking your phone like everybody else. No one walks by and says, there's someone in existential avoidance, but that's what it is. It's not me time. It's mute me time. It's not connection. It's consumption. And the truth is, you can't consume your way into healing. You can't scroll your way back to center. You can't download your peace from the App Store. And you know this. Deep down, you know. You felt that sick little weight in your chest after the seventh video, that mental blur where you forget what time it is, that strange, itchy guilt that builds when you realize you're watching strangers live while your own life waits in the next room. That's your soul knocking. That's your body saying, this isn't helping. But you don't always hear it because you're too busy being entertained, and you justify it. You say you're learning. You say you're staying informed. You say it's harmless. But if it's so harmless, why do you feel worse afterward? Why does your breath feel stuck? Why do your thoughts feel jagged? Why do you keep doing it even when you don't want to? It's not rest. It's ritualized avoidance, ritualized comparison, ritualized overstimulation. And like anything ritualized, it becomes habit, automatic, unconscious, baked into the fabric of your day. You pick up your phone like it's a reflex. You scroll like it's oxygen. But what you're really doing is slowly replacing your own stillness with noise. You're outsourcing your presence, selling your attention in exchange for a few seconds of novelty that leave you more scattered than before. And the real damage isn't just to your sleep, it's to your self-trust. Because when you can't even rest without reaching for a screen, when you can't sit with yourself for more than a few seconds without input, your inner world starts to wither. You stop knowing how to just be. You forget how to listen, how to breathe, how to come home. And healing? Healing requires coming home. Not to your house, to you. So here's the test. The next time you put your phone down and the lights go off, ask yourself, do I feel clearer or does it feel like my soul is still buffering? Do I feel nourished or just numbed? Because the difference matters. One restores, the other drains. One brings you back, the other leaves you behind. And I know sometimes the scroll is the only thing between you and the silence. But silence isn't your enemy. It's the doorway, the place where truth waits. And your body, the one that's been trying to whisper to you beneath all the noise, it already knows. It's just waiting for you to finally listen. Let's not skip spiritualized numbing. And this one's personal, real personal. I've done it more than once. Sat on the floor with my eyes closed, incense burning, candles flickering, playlists set to healing frequencies, all while quietly panicking under the surface. And I called it self-care. I told myself I was centering, but really, I was just avoiding. I was using spiritual tools like noise-canceling headphones, not to listen deeper, but to shut something out. Meditation became a mute button. Prayer became a performance. Journaling turned into elegant avoidance, loops of pretty language that circled around my pain like a plane that wouldn't land. I remember once I did a full moon ritual with herbs and a crystal grid and all that, and afterward I felt nothing but emptier. You know why? Because what I really needed that night wasn't ritual, it was to break down, call someone, cry, be messy, be raw. But that didn't look high vibration, so I saged my sadness instead. And all I did was dress it up in lavender oil and push it deeper. See, even sacred practices can become shields. You can hide behind the language of healing and never actually heal. You can repeat mantras while your inner child is still screaming for attention. You can breathe deeply and still be lying to yourself. Because if the core energy is fear, fear of feeling, fear of breaking open, fear of facing what's underneath, then it's not rest. It's spiritual cosplay. It's fake peace with good branding. And don't get me wrong, I believe in the power of all that stuff. Meditation, breathwork, ceremony, but intention is everything. You can't use light to escape the dark. You have to walk through it. And healing, it's not always serene. It's not always candles and calm music and quiet tears. Sometimes it's loud. Sometimes it's rage. Sometimes it's full body sobs in the shower or yelling into a pillow or finally saying, I'm not okay, without trying to pretty it up. Real rest, the kind that reaches the bones, doesn't always look peaceful, but it always brings you closer to truth. And truth, messy as it is the thing your nervous system trusts the most. Because you can lie to your schedule. You can lie to your friends. But your body keeps the score. And it knows the difference between avoidance and alignment. It knows when you're hiding behind healing. And it will whisper, then nudge, then scream, until you finally stop posturing peace and let yourself fall apart where it's safe to. That's what real rest is sometimes. It's not a spa day, it's saying, I don't need to be strong right now, I need to be honest. Then comes the one that really got me. The softest trap of all, the I deserve this as spiral. Oh yeah, that voice that sounds so reasonable, so gentle, so kind. You've worked hard today. You've earned this. And sure, sometimes that's true, but more often, that voice is the inner saboteur in a silk robe, because what it usually means is, let's self-soothe in ways that make tomorrow harder. You skip the thing that gives you energy. You eat the thing that fogs you up. You say, just one more episode, like it's a treat, but really it's a trapdoor. Before you know it, you're 5 micro decisions deep into self-abandonment, but you're still calling it self-care. Because the packaging looks good. It's cozy, it's deserved, it's balance. But the truth? You're not relaxing. You're unraveling, politely. And by the time the guilt creeps in, the missed workout, the grogginess, the sugar crash, the mental fog, you're too deep in to crawl out. So what do? You double down. It's okay, I needed this. And boom, you're in the loop. That loop is sticky because it feels like love. But it's not the kind of love that helps you grow. It's the kind of love that lets you decay with a blanket on. Real self-compassion doesn't always feel good in the moment. Sometimes it's a little uncomfortable. It's choosing the thing that fills you up, even when your lazy voice is louder. It's saying no to fake comfort so you can have real clarity later. Because here's the hard truth. Rest is not the same as relief. One rebuilds you, the other just pauses the ache. And you have to decide, do I want to be comforted for an hour or restored for a life? And then there's the quiet killer. The one that doesn't scream, doesn't demand attention, doesn't even feel dramatic. It just creeps in like fog. Existential fatigue. That soul deep tired where nothing's technically wrong, but everything feels off. You're not tired because you've done too much. You're tired because none of it feels real. You've been wearing masks so long, you forgot what your real face looks like. You've built a life that looks right on paper but feels wrong in your chest. And so you rest, and rest, and rest some more. But it doesn't touch the ache, because no amount of sleep can fix misalignment. You can journal until the pen runs dry. Take vacations, light candles, turn off all your screens. But if your life is out of sync with your truth, none of it will work. You'll feel like a ghost in your own routine, a stranger in your own home. You'll check all the boxes and still feel like you're falling behind on something you can't name. Because you are. You're falling behind on being yourself. And that is what truly drains you. Not the tasks, not the calendar, but the slow erosion of authenticity. And the only cure? Realignment, which is terrifying. Because it means admitting you're not okay. It means reevaluating things you've built your identity on. It means unlearning. Not just behaviors, but beliefs. The belief that being liked is more important than being true. The belief that productivity equals worth. The belief that burnout is a badge of honor. But once you start, once you make even one honest move toward the real you feel it. That flicker. That first real breath in weeks. That little spark that says, there I am. And that moment of remembering is what real rest gives you. Not escape, not sedation, but reunion. So if you're still here, I want you to pause. Right now. Close your eyes, even for just a second. Take a breath. Let it fall out slow. And drop a comment, just one line, about the kind of fake rest you fall into the most. No shame, no editing, just truth. Because when you say it out loud, it stops owning you. And someone else might read it and feel a little less broken, just knowing they're not the only one.